First of all, let me welcome you to today's webinar on political science and international relations and how to prepare for the subject. As you know that political science and international relations is one of your optional subject for your UPSC Civil Services examination, especially mains examination. Uh, I just thought that it will be a good idea to interact with aspirants who are preparing for the UPSC examination, especially those who are focused on political science options. So enough of introduction about me. So I'll just highlight you that how today's sessions will go. Okay. So first of all, uh, my sessions are always interactive in nature. So it is not like a monotonous that I only say. So I would expect you from all of you that if you can contribute to the discussions, that is really great. And by the end of the sessions, if you feel any kind of questions specifically, I will try to address it. So I just thought that it is not like a class. So it is basically an interaction. Okay, interaction about specifically on the political science and international relations option. Okay. So before I go to the PSR optional and what is the syllabus, how to prepare for the PSR optional, I will also show you the previous year question papers. So that is the agenda in today's sessions. So it's like everything what you need to know about PSR optional. I will walk you through the journey of PSR optional. Now, as I can understand, I was looking at your questions and I can understand that many of you have not decided yet that what is your optional. Okay. So I feel that this is a very important question that needs, uh, to be answered. So though I understand many of you might have some specific questions on this particular that you have not you or you are not able to decide what would be your optional. Those who have decided, well and good, but majority they have not decided. So frankly speaking, you see that in your UPSC Civil Services examination, you have three stages: prelims, mains, and interview stage. And in the main stage and the interview stage, these are the two stages which will decide that whether you are going to get a rank or not. I'm sure all of you are aware about it. Because preliminary examination is just like qualifying nature. Okay, unless and until you qualify for the prelims, you cannot go to mains examination. But your preliminary marks will not be counted in the final list. So that means I always say to the aspirants that if you are really serious and if you want to prepare dedicatedly, you should never segregate that what is the prelim preparation and what is the mains preparation. You should always focus on mains preparation from the beginning. Okay. So because prelims and mains are integrated in nature. Okay. I'm talking about the general studies. But apart from your general studies, you know that one of the deciding factor whether you are going to get rank or not, that would depend on your optional subject. Yeah. And why? Because the optional subject itself is of 500 marks. Okay. Itself is of 500 marks and 250 marks for the paper one and 250 marks for paper two. Any optional, not only political science, any optional. So that means if you have done good in the general studies, but if you have not done good in the optional paper, and the issue which you will face that you may qualify the examination, but if your target is to get an IAS, then you know that you have to have a very good rank, at least less than 100 rank or so. Those who are having some reserve category, that is a separate issue. So my advice to all of you that your optional is one of the most important part of your civils preparations, and you should understand this optional very carefully and you should prepare for this optional very carefully. I have seen many times that many aspirants, what they do, they focus more on the general studies and they think that optional would be taken as a granted. So my sincere, request to all of you that never take optional as granted, because optional itself is a 500 marks and it is one of the deciding factor that whether you are going to be in a top rank or not. Okay, so that is what I think is important related to especially optional subjects. Now, considering the fact what optionals you should choose, I just quickly go through it. See, the first criteria to choose as optional is based on purely interest. Okay, so there is no bad optional, there is no good optional. There is no optional which you say that, sir, this optional is mark scoring, that optional is not mark scoring. So I feel that according to my own experience as well as experience with interacting with many of my students, you should choose the optional which you like the most. You should choose the optional which you feel that you have an inclination, you have an interest, and you can give more time to the subject. That is what I feel like. So maybe it is political science optional or maybe any other optionals. Okay, so I hope that those who are not able to decide or those who have not yet decided what would be the optional, so my advice to you that find out what subject you are interested in. There are many subjects in your general studies you are preparing, and you can also go through quickly about the syllabus of the optional papers. Okay, you might have be having from technical background, somebody might have from humanity background. So do not think that whether if you are from the technical background, whether you taking humanity subject is a better options or not. There are many examples coming from technical background, they have taken humanity subject and they have done very good. Okay, so like for example criteria like less syllabus. Okay, this should not be your criteria, and mark scoring, this should not be your criteria. So only and only most important criteria is that you should take optional if you are interested. Okay, so I hope that I could answer these questions. I just thought to, at least clarify before I start this political science and international relations. Now, coming to specifically, we will discuss the political science and international relations optional subject, because today's session is based on this PSI optional subject. Okay. Now, in these sessions, first I will discuss briefly about uh, what is your syllabus, what are the sample questions, especially what are the previous year questions. I'll just briefly discuss about it. I will not go into detail so that I can give you the dimensions that what type of questions are being asked, especially in the optional subject. And in the end, I will take up some important questions from your side. But at the same time, let me also highlight that what benefit do you have if you are taking political science optional? Again, I am repeating, every optional is good. There is no bad optional, there is no good optional. Today's session is specifically on political science, so I am highlighting about political science optionals only. So if you take up political science, especially if you are a student, you are more inclined towards the politics, you are inclined towards the government, constitutional law, international relations. Okay, if these things fascinates you, I'm sure that most of you have initially told me that you have already chosen your optional PSI or optional, then this is one of the best one. And taking political science optional out, apart from the interest factor, there are also other advantages. Okay, what advantages? Number one, that your general study subject, you have Indian polity. Okay, you have portions of history, you have certain portions of social issues also. So political science optional, if you look into the syllabus of paper 1, it also includes your Indian polity, especially the modern Indian history, some portions of modern Indian histories, and your certain social issues, especially the women and other things. Okay, so that is the importance, I believe, one of the advantage which you have. At the same time, you know that international relations is the most one of the most important factor or one of the most important topic for both your prelims exam general studies as well as your mains examination general studies. So as you know that paper 2 of your PSR optional, the subject, the headline is comparative politics and international relations. So that international relations portions of the PSR optional is also going to help you in your general studies of the international relations topic. And moreover, another third advantage which you can get if you have this political science optional is writing essay. Okay, so when you write essay, most of the points like in the PSR optional, when you discuss about thinkers, ideologies, okay, thinkers like what Karl Marx has said about what is his thinking idea, what is the, some quotes of Gandhi, some quotes of Plato, some quotes of Socrates. So this will also help you to enrich your essay writing. Okay, so just to conclude what I am trying to tell, so I am trying to tell you that apart from the mark scoring whatever you have, which is also same like other optional subjects, you have certain advantages. The three advantages which I have told you about. Number one advantage is that Indian polity and the history portions and the social issues is overlapping with your general studies paper. Okay. And number two advantage which I told about, that international relations portions of your general studies and the optionals, that is also overlapping with each other. The last point which I told about, that it also helps you to enrich your essay paper. Okay, so these are the benefits of taking PSR optional paper. Now moving forward, let me show you that what is the syllabus of PSR optional, and then we will continue accordingly how to prepare, and I will show you certain sample questions. So I am going to share my screen, so you follow my voice, and if you want to ask any questions, you can do that. Okay. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All of you? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation. Now, this is a brief, I think this is about your UPSC Civil Services Examination, political science and international relations optional syllabus. Okay. Now, as I said to you that you have one is part one and another one is you have part two. So these are the parts you have. That means the entire political science and international relations, it is of 500 marks total. Okay. So your part one is 250 marks and your part two is again 250 marks. So normally it is known as paper one and paper two. And as you know, this is topic of mains examination, not the part of prelims. So first of all, I will briefly discuss with you that what is the syllabus in the part one and what is the detailed topics are there. Then I will go to the part two. First, if you look at here, here it is written as political theory and Indian politics. That means you will understand the various different theories about those thinkers and what are their contributions into the political science. Then this also includes a brief understanding about your Indian perspective. That means Indian politics. Okay, so let me talk about this. You see that if you look at this particular syllabus, first thing you have political theories and meaning and approaches. That means there are many different types of political theories. Okay, that means let's say for example, what liberals have talked about political theory. What is the Marxist approach of the political theories? That you try to discuss about it. What is the meaning of the political theory? Then you have theories of the state. Normally, what is the meaning of state? So for a general common thing, state means government. But in political science, state meaning of the state is much more higher than the government. Okay. But just for your understanding, when you talk about state, who is the state? Our country is the state. That means who rules us? That is the state. Okay. So that means when you talk about the state, like for example, we live in a country. We live in a country. This is our state. Okay. And inside that we have people. So how the state is going to interact with the people, or how the state is treating the people, or what is the contribution of the people into the state in terms of the elections and politics, this is the entire political science which you will be learning. And you know that in our society also, our society is also divided into classes. Like there are certain people which is known as capitalist class, those who are rich people, and those who are like working class people. Okay, working class. So this is what you need to understand. From the point of view, you will discuss and you will learn about how is the state, or what is the meaning of the state according to the those who are liberal thinkers, those who are neoliberal thinkers, those who are Marxist means those who are follower of Karl Marx, what is the pluralist, and what is post-colonial. Post-colonial means what happened? After the World War II, you know that many countries, especially they got independence. Like for example, India. Okay, you have Pakistan, Bangladesh, isn't it? Many countries they got independence after the World War II, etc. So how is the theory of state in those countries? Look at India is one of the very important and peculiar country. You see that India is sometimes considered as a third world country, isn't it? Third world country. But in many of the third world country, the democracy could not sustain. But India is one of the unique country where democracy could sustain. Then you will talk about justice. Okay. You see that in the preamble, this justice word is also mentioned here. Okay. Now here in the political science, you will try to understand the in-depth knowledge about what is justice, what are the different dimensions of the justice, what are the concepts of the justice, with special reference to Rawls' theory of justice. Rawls is a person who has given, who has contributed immensely to the theory of justice. Okay. And what are the critics? Critics means criticisms. Okay. So that means here you will understand in-depth knowledge about this particular, topic of justice. So is the case for equality. You see that in India, if you talk about the fundamental right, if you talk about fundamental right, can you tell me that which fundamental right contains right to equality? Anyone? If you know the answer, which fundamental right of Indian Constitution contains right to equality?
So 14.
Yes, correct. So it is Article 14 of Indian Constitution. Okay, Article 14 says right to equality, and here especially what we discussed, that equality before the law and equal protection of law. That is a detailed one. I'm just giving a sense of about it. So what you study in the Article 14, here what you are going to understand the theoretical dimensions of equality. What do you mean by equality? What is social equality? What is political equality? What is economical equality? And the relationship between equality, what do you mean by equality, and how equality is directly related to freedoms, and how equality is directly related to the affirmative actions. That means you are also going to master here about the equality topic. Okay. Then you have this topic like rights means there are many different types of rights. For example, you know that in our Indian constitution, we have fundamental rights under part 3 of our constitution. Okay. So fundamental rights are which are mentioned, especially the article ranges from article 12 to 35, and the actual fundamental rights ranges from article 14 to 32. Okay. So these rights, now in our, according to the constitutions, we have only understood about fundamental rights, but there are many different types of rights. Okay, there are many different types of rights which you will understand here. What are the different rights are there? What are the meanings of those rights? What are the concepts of human rights? How human rights has changed over a period of time? What are the meaning of rights according to the classical school of thought or old school of thought? And what are the meaning of rights according to the modern school of thought? That you will discuss in depth knowledge. Very interesting subject. Okay, rights, equality, justice, extremely interesting subject. If you put your interest also. Then you know that India is also one of the democratic country. Here, what happens now? The democracy which you have seen in India, especially, what do we say? The democracy means people participation. Okay, when people will participate in the procedure of government making, and when people will rule, how people will rule the country? They will rule the country by choosing their own representative. You know that today in India, the MLAs and MPs, no, we elect them. So directly, what happens? The people elect MLA and MP, and in return they only form the government. So that means indirectly it is the people who is ruling the government. So this is one way of democracies, but here in the political science optional, you will understand about the democracy in much more detailed versions. Like what are the classical democracies? Okay, that means what is the classical thinking of democracy? What Karl Marx is talking about the democracy? What liberals are talking about democracy? What feminist people are talking about the democracies? Okay, so those things you will discuss in this particular, uh, you know, democracy as a topic. Then you see, now entire, if you talk about politics, one of the notions of the politics is like power. Okay, sometimes it is, many thinkers, they have correlated politics with power. Why is that so? Because politics is nothing but power, and so is the vice versa. And here what happens, power, what is power? Like, maybe I wish that you become an IAS or IPS officer, whatever is your wish, or you become a civil servant, you are also going to have certain power. Similarly, those elected members, they are also going to have certain powers. So what is this power? Okay, and what are the different dimensions of powers? What what is hegemony? What are the country specific power? So that you are going to understand. So here in this, like, three last topics, these are more common topics. Common topics in the sense they are interrelated. How is that so interrelated? Okay, interrelated. How is that so? You see, political ideology, liberalism, socialism, Marxism, liberalism, socialism, that socialism concept, especially, Karl Marx, and Marxism, especially Lenin, Stalin, those people. You talk about fascism, you have heard about the name Hitler. Then Gandhism also, Mahatma Gandhi, and feminism as an ideologies. So those ideologies are given by many thinkers. Now here what you study, there are two persons, one is Western thinkers, another one is Indian thinkers. That means you study about the persons. Plato. What is Plato? Who is the Plato? Why Plato is giving those theories? Like Plato has given philosopher king. What is philosopher king? Okay. Aristotle has given, like Plato is considered as father of political philosophy. Aristotle is considered as father of political science. Okay. Machiavelli, Hobbes, Locke, John, Karl Marx, Gramsci, Hannah Arendt. So these things you study in the political science, especially that means you study specifically to the people. Okay, you study specifically to the people. Then in the Indian perspective, there are many thinkers. Like for example, Dharma Shastra. I'm sure that you have heard these names. Artha Shastra, especially Kautilya, isn't it? And Kautilya, you talk about Manu, then you talk about Buddhist traditions, then Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, then Sri Aurobindo, then M.K. Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, B.R. Ambedkar, and M.N. Roy. So you talk about these people, especially considering the fact that they also have contributed into the formations of Indian politics. You see that this is all about your political theories, and the next thing under this is Indian government and politics. Especially this is called as your Indian polity, a part of your general studies subject. Okay. In fact, here what you happen, here you will understand more than Indian polity. Okay, more than your general studies subject. You see, there is an Indian nationalism. Okay, that means a political point of view. You can see that there are certain like civil disobedience, non-cooperation movement, mass satyagraha, revolutionary movement, peasant work movement. These are part of your history. But in history, you study from the historical point of view. Here, what you will study from political point of view. Okay. Then you have perspective of Indian national movement. You see that what is the liberal thinking of Indian national movement? What is the socialist thinking of Indian national movement? What is the Marxist thinking of Indian national movement? What is the Marxist thinking of Indian national movement? Like for example, you have like M.N. Roy. Okay, how M.N. Roy and what is his thinking towards the Indian politics? Then you have like making of the Indian constitutions. Okay, like same thing in the Indian polity. You have discussed about all of these points. Then, like for example, salient features of the Indian constitutions, okay, preamble, fundamental rights, the directive principle of state policies, parliamentary system, amendment procedure, judicial review, basic structure of it, entire part of Indian polity. Okay, then you have like the union government, state government. Okay, these things, grassroots democracy, that means Panchayat Raj institutions, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts. Then you talk about like high courts, you talk about Supreme Courts, Parliament. Okay, then you talk about like legislature, state legislature. You discuss about this. Then, like for example, here you have like election commissioner, CAG, finance commission, UPSC, National Commission for Scheduled Caste, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, Commission for Women, NHRC, okay, National Commission for Minorities and Backward Class Commissions. These are also part of your Indian polity you discuss here. As a part of the, if I go more, then you discuss something more, like for example, what is the role of caste in Indian democracy? What is the role of religion? Because India is a country, India is called as unity in diversity, isn't it? Unity in diversities. That means we are united because we are diverse. You know that in India there are many different people that we live together. Okay, irrespective that our religion is different, our culture is different, our ethos are different, our values are different, our practices are different, but we are united. Okay, that means here you will understand what is the role of caste, what is the role of religion in the Indian politics. Then you have party systems, like what is national party. Here exclusively you will discuss about many parties like BJP. What is the organizational structure of BJP. You have Indian National Congress, isn't it? Then you have, for example, what is NDA, what is UPA, what are the state important parties. Okay, then you will discuss about these things. And similarly, like for example, social movements, environmentalist movement like Chipko movements, women's movement, those things also you discuss in this particular PSR chapter. Okay, so I hope that all of you are clear about it. So what we understand in part one, we primarily discuss very interesting topic, political theory. Especially we discuss about the political science, like interesting topics, what is equality, justice, rights, and more interestingly, you talk about personalities. You understand about what is Plato, Aristotle, what theories they have given, what are their contributions, what are the concepts they have given. You also not only Western political thinkers, you also talk about Indian political thinkers. So that is your entire syllabus for your political science paper one. So if you go to the paper two, you have comparative politics and international relations. See, comparative politics, you try to discuss about, the comparative ideas of your entire politics. Okay, that means, like for example, what is the nature and major approaches in the political economic and political sociology perspectives. Okay, then you have state in comparative perspectives. What are the different types of nature of the state, especially in capitalist socialist economies. Okay, then you try to discuss about the part of the globalization, how globalization is also related to politics. That means you sometimes known as geopolitics or global politics. Then you try to understand the international relations from the point of view of idealist, realist, Marxist, functionalist, and system theory. You know that from the Marxist point of view, it is a Lenin. Okay, it is a Lenin who has given like theory of imperialism. Imperialism. Okay, so this imperialism, you know that what the meaning of imperialism means, when one country will try to colonize another one and try to control, then it is known as imperialism. So when Karl Marx has also given the socialism theory. Okay, the Karl Marx was more about domestic, but it is the Lenin who has made the Marxism or Marx as a god into the international era. There you understand that how the Marxism concept or how the Marxism ideology, it is not only popular in one domestic affairs, but also it is equally relevant for the international affairs. Then you try to understand like what are the changing world orders in terms of political order. Here you try to discuss about many of the important point. For example, how after that after this 1990, when USSR disintegrated, okay, then USA become one of the superpower country of the entire world. There you see that before USSR disintegration, it was like two. USA is also powerful, USSR also were powerful. But now what happened? The balance, tilted. So USA become powerful. Now what is happening? Again, China is rising, isn't it? So many times people are thinking that China is also trying to be equivalent with USA in terms of power, in terms of money. Then here what you will discuss about changing in international political order. That means what are the superpowers, the rise of the superpowers. Okay, then you discuss about what is the India stand, how India's power is increasing. Okay, in the Asian countries, what is the role of India, especially in the global politics or global economy. So that you try to discuss here. Okay, then there are many international economic system, like for example, World Trade Organization, Bretton Woods, socialist economy, okay, Council for Mutual Economical Assistance. Don't misunderstand. This economical system, it may seems like part of economy, but it is not. Here we will more focus on global perspective. That means global politics. That means how these economical systems has shaped, okay, has shaped the global politics. These things you try to discuss about it. Then finally, you have United Nations. All of you know about it. You have like certain world politics, European Union, ASEAN countries, APEC, SAARC, NAFTA, etc. Then certain contemporary global concerns, like what you know that currently also there is some issues going on, the Palestinian as well as the Israel. So the issues of terrorism, nuclear proliferations, gender justice, okay, human rights violations, the democracies and environment pollutions. So here also you try to discuss about these things. Now this is all about your part where you discuss about the overall comparative politics and international politics. So now what you discuss is India and world. That means what is the relationship? Okay, what is the relationship of India with that of other countries? There you discuss about the Indian foreign policies. Okay, what are the different foreign policies from the Nehru till Narendra Modi? You try to discuss about how this different prime minister has contributed with different types of foreign policies and how they have dealt with many different countries. There you try to discuss about, like for example, India and South Asia. Okay, then SAARC. Then you try to discuss about South Asia and free trade agreement. Then there are, like for example, you have blue east policy. Now there is also an act east policy. Yeah, so how we are dealing with the Pakistan, how we are dealing with the Jammu and Kashmir issues. So those things you discuss in the India and the world. And this is the bilateral relations. That means you have two things. One is bilateral. In the bilateral, you talk about like India China, India USA, okay, India Japan. So India with another different countries, India Israel, okay, India Central Asia, India Middle East. You discuss about how India is trying to formulate its own policies according to the different countries. Then you have like India is a part of United systems like UN peacekeeping force, and India and the nuclear questions changing the perception of the policies. Then you have the recent developments, Indian foreign policies, and US Israel, how they are behaving. So this is your overall syllabus for your political science PSR optionals. You see, as I told you, that part one you have political theory, Indian politics, and part two you have the comparative politics and international relations. Very interesting subject. Learning international relations is one of the most interesting subject, as well as then learning about the theories and thinkers. It will give you a lot of idea that how does this politics works. If you today you talk about, like for example, we have the procedure of the government, then how does this work? These things you will try to understand, especially in this political science as a subject. Okay, then let me give you some sample questions. You see, okay, this is questions of paper one. This is a recent 2020 mains questions, political science. This is paper one. So if you look at the questions, I'm sure that you will, if you are not prepared, you won't be able to answer these things. I'm just showing you the question paper is to make you know that how is the types of questions or what are the types of questions being asked. You see, very post-colonial theory of state. Remember the syllabus we have talked about, theory of state. Here is the direct questions coming. Equality of opportunity, from the equality. The liberalism concepts, Ambedkar's ideas of constitutionalism. This is a part of your, we have talked about, like for example, Indian thinkers. In the Indian thinkers, there is a personalities you try to discuss about it, and that is your Ambedkar's idea and what kind of a thinker Ambedkar is. You discuss about Machiavelli secularism, very specific. You have studied about one chapter, then you will be able to answer these things. You see that there Raolism concept of justice. Okay, so Raoulisian concept of justice is especially justice as a chapter you try to discuss about. I'm just showing you, yeah. Then explicit ideology component of Gandhism, direct questions coming here. Like for examine the nature and meaning of power, direct questions from the optional, I mean the syllabus. Explain the source of ancient Indian political thoughts. What is ancient Indian political thoughts? I just told you about, like Arthashastra, Dharmasastra, those things. You Manu, Kautilya, you try to discuss here. Okay. Then you have like some of the 10 marks answers, like role of socialist in Indian national movement, Indian constitutional maker, consensus on social equality, right of the constitutional remedies. This is related to direct questions coming, that like for example article 32 of an Indian constitution, constitutional remedies, where you try to discuss about, like for example, habeas corpus, mandamus, okay, certiorari, quo warranto, and prohibition. I'm sure that if you have if you have gone through the Indian polity, you must have gone through these words. So these are constitutional remedies. Okay, what is judicial overreach in India? Okay, then you have like interstate dispute. There are many interstate disputes. Interstate disputes can be related to land disputes or can be related to river disputes. How these interstate disputes can be solved? Then you see that direct questions coming. To what extent 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment of Indian constitution enhance the women's empowerment? So you see this question seems to be twisted, but it is very easy question. How is it? How it is easy questions? Like for example, you have the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments acts. They are talking about basically gram panchayat, okay, and municipalities. You see that the question what it is asking, that what are the reservations or what are the special privilege given to the women candidate in gram panchayat and municipality. So simple question. If you have studied about like 2/3 members provisions, reservation system, if you have studied about panchayat raj institutions, then you will be easily able to answer this. Then let's say for example, there is a question, to what extent inadequate intra-party democracy affected the functioning of Indian democracy. So this type of questions, like civil liberty movement in India, these type of questions, if you have studied really well according to the syllabus, then definitely you will be able to answer each and every questions. I'll just show you the another one, that is your paper 2. Look at the paper 2 questions, that is your comparative politics and international relations. Direct questions coming, discuss the subject matter of comparative politics, outline the limitations of comparative politics. Okay, direct questions. Critical examine the impact of process of globalization. Okay, then explain the concept of balance of power. See, we have talked about like balance of power, rise of the power. I just gave you certain examples that USA, USSR, after that what happened. So those things, if you have studied about it, then it will be easy for you to answer these questions. Then you see that like critically analyze the implications of Sino-American strategy rivalry for the South and Southeast Asian regions. Okay, so these are more specific questions. Like non-aligned movement, there is a questions about it. Here also there are asking about certain organizations like United States of America in the World Trade Organizations. Okay, dispute settlement mechanism and its implications of future World Trade Organizations. Then you try to understand, like discuss the significance of urgency of United Nations Security Council reforms. Like India many times has advocated to be a permanent member, but at least we have got certain success, but not fully. But I think we still need to take care of the effort forward also. Then you have like for example, describe the structure of National Security Council of India. Okay. So these things you discuss, then outline the regions, low volume of SAARC regions. Discuss the future perspective of Indo-Nepal relations, isn't it? Direct question. This is bilateral relations, India and Nepal relations. Then you have certain questions like India and Africa relations, asking about it. Okay. So discuss the significance of Indo and US strategy. Again, bilateral relations. Yeah. Then you have like for example, line of actual control. It is line of control and line of actual control. So India, Pakistan, India, China. Like India and China stand up in the line of actual control. You try to discuss about it because previous year in 2020, you know that there were many issues which has happened. There are many developments happened between India and China, and here what you are discussing, exact the same question has been asked. Okay, so then you have like certain more questions, like critically examine the role of India in shaping emerging world order. That means what is the role of India, especially how India is contributing to the global politics. Okay, so if you have seen the pattern of the questions, especially international relations questions are more specific to the recent development. Are you getting my point? They are more specific to the recent developments, which means that if you have read in the newspaper that something has happened okay, that something has happened, then definitely the questions will be asked from that point of view. Yeah, because it is more contemporary. International relations are asked from the more contemporary events. And the paper one of your syllabus, you see whatever questions I have, whatever syllabus topics I have discussed, you can see that the questions are also mainly majority of the questions they are directly coming, and some of the questions are twisted, bit of twisted. But if you have prepared really well, then definitely you will be able to answer each and every questions. Believe me, political science as a subject is, one of the most interesting subjects. If you study, if you understand the concepts, then you will fall in love with the subject. Why? Because in and around you have a government. You know every day in newspaper you discuss about international relations. Okay, then in many of the areas you try to understand the constitutions and other things. So this will be interesting, will be helpful for you also. How? Because it is not only for the examination, but as a member of your community, this is also going to help you a lot. So that's a brief understanding about what is the political science syllabus, what are the sample questions of the political science of both paper 1 and paper 2. So I hope that you are able to understand especially you got some certain ideas about PSR optional, all of you. Just tell me yes in the chat box. I'll be able to know that. Sumit, Roshan, Lina, Priyanjali, uh, another one is Relias. Okay, great. So I think that is the detail. I just thought to have a discussion with all of you. Now, if you have any specific questions to ask, you can ask me directly. If you have any specific question, feel free to ask. It's okay, no problem. Any specific questions if you have. Any question? Okay, no problem. So now, the another part of your political science webinar, especially the resources. Okay, sir, where to study, isn't it? Now I have given you the details. The second question usually comes, sir, where to study about the political science optional. And many people they ask about, sir, what is the book list and how to prepare for it. See, political science optional usually it takes if you really prepare well in a very good way, then it will take approximately 5 to 6 months. Okay, but it depends on the persons also. Some people they will be able to complete the entire syllabus with a better understanding and answer writing within 3 months, and some people may take bit of time. But on an average, it might take 5 to 7 months of time period. You see that what is more important for this political science optional is answer writing. That means if you have studied the topic, and you should prepare yourself to write down the answer. It is not about knowledge. No, verbal is not important. You must acquire the skills and knowledge to write down the answers. Okay, so before that, how to write down the answers? You need to have certain knowledge. If you have not studied about the topic, how can you write down the answers? So I'll just show you. I'm again sharing my screen. I'll show you some of the resources which we have currently that you can refer after the webinar. Okay. Okay, can you see it? All of you, can you see it?
Yeah, sir, we can see.
You can see it. Now, if you visit our website, okay, it is www.ray.academy. There is a resources. Okay, there is a resources. We have all the like PSR for PSR optional. There is a specific resources. Okay, so what do you get in the PSR optional resources? You get previous year UPSC question paper. Okay, then you get like UPSC political science IR optional syllabus also you get. Okay, then you get certain reference book list also. Here I have mentioned about the book list. Now you see, if you go through the book list, now there are certain standard books which I have already mentioned here, like for example OP Goba, okay, Ashok Acharya, Subrata Mukherjee, you have like Andrew Hewood, okay, so Andrew Hewood. So these are, you know, recommended books, I would say. Some certain references books already it is being mentioned, so it is already available for free of cost. You just need to visit our website www.ray.academy. Okay, it's not .com, it's .academy. So you just visit our website in the resources sections, and in the resources sections you will get, for example, what are the previous year question paper, okay, what is UPSC syllabus, and then you have what are the references books. I have also mentioned, like for example, general mistakes in the answer writings. Okay, I'll just show you one thing. Let me show you the previous year question paper. Okay, yeah, so you see here, you can see that here in our website you can find out from 2000, from, I think there is a this is the wrong thing. Anyways, from 2009, you see it is 2009. Okay, from 2009 to 2020. Okay, it's almost like 11 years of question paper you have, 2009 to 2020. All of this question paper are free of cost available. You can simply go to it and you can look into it. Okay, here is also you can see the syllabus. You can download the syllabus in PDF also, and entire thing is quite mentioned. So you can just, you know, have a look, once you go through it, you will be able to understand about it. Now let me come back to you. So there are two ways of you know, understanding the subject. Usually what happens, all of the books normally, recommended books, whatever it is being mentioned. Okay, so normally if somebody reads the book, if you have already a background, or if there are any mentor who is available to guide you that how to read those books according to the syllabus, then I believe you will be able to crack it. Okay, there is no problem about it. Or else if you feel that self studies is important, you can just follow those question paper. You can you know, practice certain answer writing or mock test series of PSR optionals. Then you can go through those things, so you'll be able to you know, prepare for it if you are confident about it. But if in case, like for example, you are looking for certain classes, sir, I need a specific guidance that, you know, if you are not able to figure out as a political science as an optional, so here in our organizations also we are providing especially political science optional, where not only your you know, the syllabus and live classes are there, but along with the live classes, I personally take up this political science optional. So I have a habit that usually I take like 5 to 6 months of time period to complete the course, where I will be teaching detailed approach to the political science optional, each and every topic of political science optional, including I also provide the handwritten notes. It's not PDF. I mean, it's not like printed. It's like handwritten notes. So I will be providing topic-wise handwritten notes, and the benefit of the handwritten notes is that you know, it will be like easier for you. It's like if you read the books, there are so much of informations. Okay, sometimes I have seen aspirants that they find a bit of difficult while summarizing at what to expect or what to, you know, filter out the informations from the books. So the study material what we provide from our organization is sufficient for your examination, PSR optionals especially, and moreover there is a dedicated mains answer writing, especially PSR optional. In my class, there also I have a habit of giving a lot of answer writing practices, assignments, and I keep on giving the assignments. And there are many students already. There are batches going on PSR, and what they do, they provide those answers, and I give them a feedback how to write the introduction, what is the body part, what is the conclusion, you know, how to quote those many thinkers. So because general studies answer writing and optional answer writing bit of differs, it is not exactly same. And especially when you write about the political science optional, then you have to learn about the how to write the answers carefully, how to introduce that particular, you have to understand what is the demand of the question. So all those things we also provide in our batch. In case if anyone is interested, or if you feel that yes, you are confident enough to handle your optional preparation on your own, already I have shown you that there are certain recommended book list. I have already, it is available in our free of cost in our website. as well as there are many sample questions from 2009 to 2020. You can just download it, you just go through it, and you can practice those questions accordingly. Or if you are looking for any specific like guidance, you can again visit our website. There is a number, there is a register button also. You can register if you are interested for any kind of optional guidance. Are you clear, all of you? Did you understand the resources? Just tell me in the chat box. Okay. So, okay. Okay. So now, if you have any specific questions, I think I have covered almost everything. Apart from this, if you have any specific question, please feel free to ask. Any specific question? Thank you so much for your time.